Let's shift gear and talk about light modifiers. Specifically, we're going to talk about a collapsible beauty dish from SMDV. This is Artist Right. Before we start, subscribe if you're new and hit on the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I upload cool new videos like this. You may have seen a few of the reviews that I made about SMDV product, particularly the SMDV Flip and the SMDV Flip Pro. Essentially, they are Octabox that can easily be set up really quickly and also easily collapse down. And if you're unfamiliar with SMDV in general, they are a Korean company that specializes in light modifier, and particularly one that you can set up really quickly and take down really quickly as well. In the US, they're being sold through a company called Spring Distribution, and I'll leave links to my review videos and also these two companies in the description so you can also check them out too. But essentially what SMDV is really doing that really caught my attention was the fact that you can really travel with the product light modifier in something that's pretty much almost virtually flat. And yes, you can carry a softbox or an Octabox in a fairly flat case and everything too in the back, like what they're providing. But something that those Octabox and softbox can't really do is being deployed rapidly and quickly on location. For instance, this is an SMDV product and they have this ring here. When I arrive on location, what I simply do, flip this over. This is now ready to mount onto the light, and now I am ready to go with a light modifier. This is how fast you can set up their product, and when you're done, simply just release the lock and it just collapses. So it is that simple, it is that quick. And before I found out about the product, I was using umbrella mostly on location to light at weddings and everything because those are the quickest and smallest thing you can carry for deployment. But once I found these, I mean, they are now literally my exclusive light modifier for photography and also for video work. I'm using their product, the SMDV Flip, to light me up right now in the studio. So I really genuinely love their product. Now, they have announced a brand new product called the Flip Beauty 24. So let's set this up. Now, you may wonder, what is this really product all about? Because it looks like an Octabox in front right now, but there are a lot of really unique features to this Flip Beauty 24. So this in general is designed to mimic the look of a beauty dish, and it does the job quite well. So we're gonna mount this onto the light that I have, and this is a Godox VL50 continuous LED light that I use in the studio, even though I have larger ones, the VL200. I made a video of this too. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check that out, reviewing these products. But now that I have this mount, like I said, it looks in general like an Octabox, but it's really more than an Octabox. So this is a really cool product. Now, before I get into talk about this anymore, let's quickly talk about beauty dish and why would anybody use a beauty dish and everything. And if you're unfamiliar with beauty dish, what are some of the characteristics of a light that you get from it? So a beauty dish in general is made out of some type of alloy, and there is a depth to it. It's pretty much like a dish, but it's like two dishes facing each other. So there's a big dish that faces towards the subject, and in the middle there is a smaller dish that bounces the light from the light source itself. So at any time when you're using a beauty dish, the subject is not being lighted directly, but they're being lighted through a bounced light source to have a curvature to it. Now, it is a really unique, pretty light, and the quality of light that you get, depending on the material and the coating on the inside of a beauty dish, some of them can be silver, some of them can be just flat white, some of them can be creamier. It depends on which brand and which coating you get. But in general, you're going to get this really nice soft light that also have some of the specular quality as well. It's one of those dichotomy that's really hard to describe, but it looks really awesome. And the other thing that you also get characteristic of a beauty dish as well is extremely fast light fall off. So the moment you get to this ring that's lighting the subject, anything else beyond that, you don't really have a lot of light that's feathering around the edges anymore. So it's a compact source of light that is really fairly well controlled. Now, another characteristic of a beauty dish is, as I told you before, there is a dish in the middle that bounces light from the source into the dish itself. Unlike putting a regular light modifier like a softbox in front of a light where the light is still being shined directly, this is more of a bounced light source, which is the reason why you're getting that soft light. The other characteristic of a beauty dish as well is that the center are not going to be quite as bright, and the outer rim of it is going to be a little bit brighter. Almost like a ring light in a way, but a lot more diffuse in nature. So this is the SMDV Flip Beauty 24. Now, let me turn on the lights a little bit and you're going to see what I am describing right now. You can see that there is an outer ring going around right now that's brighter, and on the inner part or in the center it's a little bit darker. Now I'm going to turn this off for just a second and show you a couple things you can do with this. So if you use it in the configuration that I'm showing you right now, this is going to give you the softest light possible. But with this, you can remove the front cover. And the moment you do so, you get to see the inside of it. This inside is silver reflective, so if you want something a little bit more specular in nature, you would simply just take the soft diffusion in the front out and you start to get the idea for this. Now, another thing that you should want to note about this too is that in the center there is that dish there that is being suspended by these rubber wires and also these clips. So this is the part itself that makes this a beauty dish like, or a beauty dish mimicking light source. It's that dish right there that's hanging and suspending in the middle. Without this, pretty much the light's going to be shining through. This is going to be a normal 24-inch Octabox. And if you want a 24-inch normal Octabox, take that dish out. So multi-purpose, but that dish makes this more of like a beauty dish like device. Now, I really like using this a lot and I have been playing around with it quite extensively. In fact, many of the videos that I have been filming have been using these lights. So you may notice that the lighting on me is a lot less soft. It's a little bit more specular, but it's still that soft light at the very same time. A really unique look on the lighting. And now with that in mind, what I'm going to do is set this up as a key light, lighting me up in the studio. I'll be capturing this through video, so I'm going to try the best that I can. Normally in photos, you have a lot more latitude regarding contrast. When it comes to videos, you don't have really that much, especially shooting compressed videos like I'm doing now, but I'm going to try my best to do that. So you're going to get a more dramatic lighting, and we're going to just start this out with just a specular like beauty dish, and I'll put this back on and we'll have a look and compare there. Now, if it does get too dark, what I'm going to do is use the SMDV Flip, the 44-inch Octabox as a light fill, but you know, we're going to talk about lighting in just a moment. So let me reset this up. So this is the beauty dish setup. This is pretty much the one with the specular, so without the white diffusion in front. The lighting you see right now is somewhat much more specular because it has a lot of the silver on the inside. The big characteristic that I want to point out about this beauty dish is the fact that I have this really intense light at the very top, almost like a ring in a way. You can see it in the back as well, but there's almost that ring, that halo there, and pretty much everything drops off really quickly. So you can see the light on the upper part of my body, my face and everything is being lit up really well, but as pretty much light goes down, there is a quick drop off. In fact, if you take a look at the lighting on my hand right now, it is definitely that much darker. So this is what I was talking about with regards to a beauty dish. There is a quick light fall off compared to using like a really large softbox or something like that. Now the size of this I think is fairly good, and like I said, this is a little bit more of a specular lighting, but nonetheless at any given time I still see bright lights if I look up, like, you know, I'm going towards the light. But at any given time though, I am not really seeing the LED pointing directly in my eyes. That LED light is being bounced onto the dish that we talked about into the area surrounding it. So you do get this really nice lighting quality. Now I can turn to the side a little bit and create all these different lighting patterns as you see right now. I can do this. This is the light coming just a little bit above. So this is more of just like a butterfly light, which creates a shadow directly under my nose. If I turn sideways a little bit, I can create a loop. If I turn it further, I can create almost like a Rembrandt. I also have to adjust the light as well, and I can also do a full split. But I haven't set up the light fully like that yet, so it's not going to work too well. I just want to demo what this light looks like right now, which I think is really fantastic. So considering that you don't have to really collapse this down or carry it in a large case, it is amazing for that. Now what I'm going to do is quickly reset this setup by adding this white diffusion, and I'll also do some freeze frame to show you a comparison between using the white diffusion and also using just the internal Flip Beauty 24, the silver parts as well. And now that I have the white diffusion in front of the Flip Beauty 24, you can see that the lighting on me is definitely much softer and also less harsh at the same time, because it is now being diffused by this white diffusion layer. Instead of just having that specular bouncing silver thing on the inside of the softbox, you no longer have that. Now, I generally think that this is a highly versatile light modifier, because getting one of these allows you to use this in pretty much 3 separate configuration, if not more, if you're really that creative about it. But essentially what you can do is use it the way how I'm demoing right now, which is as a beauty dish or a beauty dish-like device with a diffusion in front. Take the diffusion out, you get a more specular beauty dish. And if you take the dish out itself, then you also just get a light that's a little bit more conical. It acts like, you know, one of those cone light modifiers, but a little bit larger. But if you put the diffusion in front, then this becomes a 24-inch softbox. So you can use it that way too. But you're seeing right now, the lighting on me, it's pretty good quality. You still get a lot of that beauty dish quality of light, or the characteristic of it, where the lighting over here is fairly bright and it drops off fairly quickly. Look at my hands right now that are being lit or not. So this is really great dramatic lighting that you can really apply to your studio, and amazingly enough, it collapsed into a really small package. So using this, even in just the videos that I'm filming, I really enjoy using this quite a bit. And if you're looking for a little bit of a twist on a classical light modifier to beauty dish, I think this is definitely the one that you should look at and consider. If you have any questions or comment about this, leave them below, give this a like, subscribe, and hit on the bell if you're new, and in art we trust.